coming up here and barely any traction, and the tire slid off the side and into this big rock right here, which stopped me dead. So I'm gonna come back and go through. So I know it doesn't look like much, but this is just what can happen when you're kind of heading down the old dirt road and it starts to get a little challenging. And I walked it ahead there and it's just 2 and 3 foot drops. So I think this is where we're going to turn around. But I got the bike turned around there. Good to go. And looks like we'll head off. Alright, so this is Phillipsburg, Montana. The road that you see down here is Highway 1, Montana, MT1. So that comes from Anaconda, which is over here. And if you take a right out of here, you'll make it to 90. And then you'll be able to head back east or west on 90. This is a pretty small town, but it's a really great town because there's a lot of history in this part of Montana. A lot of miners. Back in the gold rush days, these were really, really popular areas to live and work. And then, you know, when you had silver kind of drop out and all that stuff, these towns literally disappeared. People just left within a week. So there are some people that stayed. Obviously the business owners and stuff like that had a reason to stay, but a lot of the people that were working in the mines didn't have a reason to stay. So kind of caused this town, like Phillipsburg, to grow and then all of a sudden shrink to next to nothing. But now, luckily, we're seeing some revitalization here, and Philipsburg is kind of turning into, I guess you could call it a tourist area, but it's not your average tourist location. Maybe for your tourist that's interested to go explore the outdoors, the backcountry, stuff like that. That's the kind of tourist destination this is. And that's why I kind of want to feature Philipsburg as a place that you might want to consider visiting. So the first thing is just kind of a drive through the town. I'll come back and show some more details on a couple of these businesses. Of course, like Philipsburg Brewery, because full disclosure, that's my buddy's brewery, and it's really good. They have a bunch of medals. So I definitely want to show you guys the brewery inside and out, and also just kind of around the town. There's plenty of hotels here in Philipsburg. There's one right in the downtown area. There's also hotels just like on the outskirts of town. You can find a cheap place, or you know, if you want to spend a few extra dollars, you can do that. This is the one stoplight in town. So as you can see, Sapphire Gallery, stuff like that. This is a mining town. It's an old mining town. The Up and Smoke Barbecue House, that's a great place to have lunch. What else we got here? Wine cellar, some bakeries. Oh, there's the post office. Cool old building there. And this is pretty much where Main Street ends, but I want to take you up to the end of Main Street because there's a pretty cool thing going on up here. So the Philipsburg Brewery is right down there at the stoplight. You probably saw it while I was stopping. It was on the left. And this is their canning area. So they have a whole canning setup over here. And it's also where the underground spring is, so they get good water from the spring. And then they can make some pretty awesome beer. So I'm just going to do kind of a quick little, they're not open yet, I just want to kind of show you. So they have a nice outdoor area here where you can hang out and have some beers. You can see the beer just kind of stacked up in there. And right now they're canning. You can see a bunch of the spent grain there. But this is a great chill place to come have a few beers and see how the beer is canned. It's kind of neat because it happens pretty much right in front of you. And if you wanted to walk from downtown, this is probably a 10-minute walk from the stoplight there. It's really close. So definitely worth checking out. And it's that connection to the community that makes this place pretty special. Here on the right-hand side is the brewery that used to be an old bank. So they've completely remodeled it, and I will show you what the inside looks like. It's super cool. This is also a cool place, Brick's Pub. They've got some amazing beers on tap. I need to go in here, the Granite County Museum. I need to go in there and check it out. I want to see some of the history. This is pretty much the town. Now I'm kind of heading into what I would call like the area that would be like the backcountry area. But all around here, 360, there's little roads that kind of just lead off into nowhere, you know. You can see these old mining setups that are all dilapidated. So that's where we're going to head to today. And I just love how some of these older homes, like this one up here, they've remodeled it and kept some of that old charm. So cool. Like this one here, kind of kept that old charm there. Very cool. Alright, I think the Granite County Road is right up here. Hopefully it won't be too muddy. It's been pretty rainy, but we shall see. Front tire is pretty much completely bald. So this is how it is. You saw I was downtown less than 2 minutes ago, and here we are. We're starting to head up and out. I don't know where these roads go, so well, there's the town of Granite. So Granite was one of the old mining establishments that Phillipsburg kind of was born from. And I just think it's really interesting to go take a look at these old things, because there's often kind of hidden gems. That's a cool little house there. Nothing much, don't need much. Well, it started raining, of course, so I hope there's not a bunch of water on the camera. But we started heading up these hillsides, and man, I love these roads. Kind of wish I had some tires that were in some better shape, because I just did almost 4,000 miles to Overland Expo and back, and they're about toast. But I knew that before I left. I knew I was just going to be doing a bunch of pavement, or maybe a little bit of stuff like this. So let's try and keep the bike on two wheels. This stuff is pretty slick. Buildings. What this was. This was the bank. The only bank in Granite. Wow. So I think that was 5, maybe 10 minutes ago. We were in town and I was showing off my buddy's brewery, the Philipsburg Brewery, and here we are. We're up in the mountains. It's literally been 5 miles. And it's snowing. What is today? Maybe 20 something. So that's how fast you can kind of come out to the backcountry, I would call it. And this is the old bank of Granite. Look, they put a steel piece there. Very cool. Oh, and they've got steel across the top as well. I wonder if this is where they would lock away the gems and the gold and the things that they were, I think these were silver mines. So maybe the silver, and they had cash here where they could pay people out. So this was probably a vault of some sort. These look like these were milled. So there must have been a lumber mill in the area, because these are not hand hewn. These are tons of wood. So I'm not sure how old this is. Look at this old, I think that's a truck grill. See the headlights there? Might have been a car, but it kind of looks like a truck. This cool old house. Let's see if we can get inside. Follow him. Good thing I have helmet on. Well guys, I'm not sure if you can see any of this in here because it's pretty dark. Try to walk on the floor joist. You can see where the house is coming apart here. Oh, and they even put cardboard on the ceiling. I wonder if there's a date on this. American Cigarette and Cigar Company Incorporated, subsidiary of the American Tobacco Company. Mall cigarettes. So they used this for insulation. This is all old packaging for cigarettes. Wow. That green color there is a very common color for these old buildings. Wow, look at that. Look at that. It's just falling apart. It's being held up by these posts here. You got this post and that tree. It's all holding this up. It almost looks like the hull of a ship. So cool. Wow. See this holding this up here? If I touch it, it'll probably fall on me. That's the window. And there's the roof all caved in. And you can see the lath. So this was probably a lath and plaster room. Yeah, you can see the plaster here. This is a real common way to insulate walls back in the day. They used these really skinny boards and they nail them into the wall studs, and then they put this plaster over top of them, and then they paint it. And sometimes they would put newspaper and other stuff in there as an insulator, but the plaster was basically your insulator and your sound deadening and all that other kind of stuff back in the day. I'm not quite sure I want to walk over there. And look at that. So there's more lath and plaster, and there's even brick. So there's the fireplace. Gotta check that thing out. Kind of got to be careful because there was commonly like basements in these places. They would dig down, and that's where they would put their food and stuff, kind of like a cellar. I don't want to fall in one of those. Could fall in there and not be found. This just looks like a wall falling over. There's the window. Wow, so cool. And yeah, this is just right off the road. Like the road's right there. You can just pull off and check this stuff out. Here's the fireplace. See if I can get over this. Great place. Had a great view and everything. So when the bottom fell out of silver, a lot of people just left. They just took off. Because it was kind of like they had wealth and then it was just gone. Like, you know, and it's a pretty crazy thing to think that you're living in a place and then one day all your hard work and sweat is worthless. So what do? You take your money and you try to find another way to make profit. Let's see if I can get in here. It's just gonna fall over. Kinda. Yeah, see? Like underneath there's a pretty deep cavern there. I bet they were storing food under there. But this could have been, you know, a guest house. Like this could have been someone's room that they would rent. And then over here you have, that's like the kitchen area with the fireplace. So maybe they would serve food there as well. Looks like there's a couple other rooms there. Yeah, it could be a lot of different things. Super cool. You can see that wall had like wallpaper on it. So that was quite a fancy room at one point. And the plaster, you can see the plaster there. Wow, incredible. The fireplace still standing. You know, this is Montana. This is old school Montana. This is what's left from people working their fingers to the bone just to try to make a few dollars in the mining industry.